What's poppin', everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody's having a blessed and wonderful day out there. So today's video is going to be rather short, but I'm going to be talking about PSA. There's something I want to talk about. I did a recent submission. I've done a lot of submissions with PSA. PSA, I hold in high regard, right? Especially for return on investment. I like their slabs. And there's a lot of things I like about PSA. But I want to share with all of you something that I have learned throughout all of these different submissions I've done with PSA, and something that a lot of you may agree with, and I'm pretty sure some of you will not agree with what I'm about to say. All right, so I do like PSA, but some of their business practices I do not agree with. And one thing I wish they would change is very clear grading prices, right? The tier system is very confusing, and they can upcharge you. Now, two things a lot of people ask me when it comes to PSA grading or other grading, right? How do you figure out a comp value? How do you figure out the appropriate tier for PSA and what the card is worth? And you really have to understand cards to do that, and you have to give your best guess. And still, that may mean nothing, because depending on the grader you get for PSA, I mean, it's really going to be up to them. You can think your card is very, very minty, but I still believe that there's a piece of population control that matters, right? I've submitted a lot of very rare and valuable cards, and sometimes they get 10s, even if they have a nick. And sometimes I submit very, very packed fresh cards that just came out of Lost Origin or something like that, and I have multiples, and I can't get above an 8. So it really just depends. But here's the point, right? The first time I did my submission, I basically overvalued everything. I wanted to be very honest. I wanted to be very transparent. I wanted to ensure I get my cards back safely. And that PSA, you know, to me, it was just that genuine thing, right? If I do this and I'm very honest, then PSA is going to be very good to me and give my cards back. End of the day, your couple $100 is not going to make a difference for PSA, a multi-million-dollar company. And I promise you, they are not going to grade your cards better just because you put your card and overvalue it into an upper tier. That does not matter. So I spent a lot of money grading these cards. Not all of them came back PSA 10s. I probably broke even on my first submission, and I'm talking about a while ago. And the point I'm talking about this is because this go round, when they had the $15 submission and then the $18 submission, if you're a member and all that stuff, right? You can do it for bulk submissions, and now it was sports cards, and then it was TCG cards. I submitted 17 cards in this submission. And of course, I'm shooting for 10s. Now, very rarely will I shoot for a lower grade unless it's something very rare and valuable, like a no rarity Japanese Charizard or something like that. I did submit a first edition Rocket Dark Blastoise, which got a PSA 7, and I'm still happy with that because it's still worth like $300-400, so that's cool. But the point that I'm making is that I submitted a lot of high dollar cards in here. Now, most of these cards were more than $200-300 raw, so I knew if they got a 10, they're going to be worth a lot more, maybe $500 to $1,000 value, right, if they're graded as a 10. And there's a few in here that I got in a high grade, right? So I got a few of them in here that was very, very valuable, and I'm not going to show all of them, right? I'm just showing a couple examples because some of these are recent and you'll understand what I'm talking about. But a lot of these cards, I did have one here as well that I know for a fact is over $1,000. Now, this card right here is a PSA 10. A lot of these did grade as a 10, and most of these cards are valued over $500, right? And some of them are valued over $1,200. And I submitted every single one of these in the $50 tier. So these were not in the $18 tier. I have some other cards there right now, but that's saying that these cards are not going to be worth more than, I think, $500 or something like that. But I did not get upcharged on any of these cards. Now, I did have about 80 cards at PSA right now, and I didn't get upcharged for any of those cards either. The grades already popped, and some of those cards are also worth over $500 and possibly $1,000 as well. Now, those are part of a $15 special submission, which means those cards could not be valued over $199. Now, the point that I'm trying to make is that we often overpay PSA to grade our cards. But don't feel wrong if you want to undervalue your cards, but be prepared to take the licks and pay the upcharge fee if you get that to get your cards back. I'm saying that because you can save tons of money that way. I know it may feel wrong. to short PSA, but they're making tons of money off of these cheap plastic slabs. I promise you, they are not hurting. So if you want to undervalue your cards, they may not upcharge you. They may upcharge you on 1 or 2 cards, maybe all of them, or you might get lucky, right? I didn't get upcharged on anything so far. And this is 17 here and about another 80 cards. It's about 100 cards. I didn't get upcharged on one. And I know for a fact this should have been upcharged. But the point that I'm making is that don't overvalue your cards, right? You can drop them to a lower tier. Do not be afraid. If they upcharge you, you know, take your licks, pay the bill, get your cards back. But I would really like to hear what y'all have to say on that, because I'm very curious, right? I think that these grading companies take a lot of money from us to do a service that shouldn't cost that much. And if you undervalue it, then you're good, right? Then they might lose out on some money. But if you overvalue your card, and this is why I say that it's right to do this, because PSA is not going to give you money back. If I submit this card and I pay for a 10 in the value for that tiered slot for a PSA 10 for that comp, and it comes back a 7 or 8, it's not like they're going to give me some money back that I paid them for grading, right? They're going to keep that money. So let me know what y'all think about that. Look, I'm not trying to complain. I'm trying to tell you about something great, something that happened to me, right? I probably saved a couple $100 on this submission and also on the other submission coming back. So that's just my experience. Hopefully PSA doesn't see this and be like, hey, we're on to you. We're going to charge you for every card that you have. And I'm not talking about just myself. I'm a small fish. But I mean, for all of us out there, right? If you could save some money, save some money. Love the hobby. I enjoy it. I collect a lot. I'm doing this because I love to collect, not just to sell cards and invest. And I love each and every one of you. Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe if you like this content. I'll be back soon with another video, and I'll see y'all later. Out.